Welcome, ladies, to the Real Estate Investor Show, providing inspiration, strategies, and insight to empower women investors to live balanced and financially free lives. Now, here are your co-hosts, Liz and Andresa.
Welcome back, ladies. This is Liz.
And this is Andresa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Investor Show, where our mission is to empower women to live a financially free and balanced life on your own terms. That is what we stand for. That is what we are so passionate about. And we appreciate you being on this journey with us, joining us for another mini-show where 10 minutes or less, we cover something when it comes to real estate investing, of course, as our core, something around business. So you can really run your business, not just as a hobby, but as a true business that, works without you. And also self-care, which is going to be the topic for today. And this is going to be something that we're kind of doing off the cuff. And it's something that Andresa and I just offline were talking about. And I said, this is a great mini-sode. So Andresa, what are we going to be talking about today?
Listen, we have planned a different mini-sode for you, but as we are talking, we said we should talk about clothing in real estate. And why is this matter? And don't turn it off. This is very important. This is not scripted. We did not plan about it. Liz and I have different perspectives because this is sometimes what behind the scenes happened. And we want to open up for you guys.
All right. So here's what we're going to talk about. We talk about self-care. We've talked about so many different aspects of self-care and how important it is to take care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, physically. Part of physically, though, is obviously taking care of our bodies, what we put in it, how we move our bodies, but also what we put on it, right? How we look. And there's a piece to that that is very interesting when it comes to self-care. So here's what we're going to talk about a little bit. And I'm going to share with you the conversation, and we're just going to have the conversation, Andresa and I, because not that we have different perspectives, but we have different approaches. Andresa will often, let's take a step back. So InvestorCon happened, and it was an amazing, amazing event. And as we planned for InvestorCon, obviously Andresa and I were the hosts. And as a host, you have to be concerned about what you wear. And, obviously I was concerned about that, but I don't know if I was as concerned about it as Andresa. No right and wrong, but that's a fact. And that's in general. Andresa and I will have photo shoots, or I'll be speaking. It's just like, what are you wearing? I'm like, I don't know what I'm wearing, and she's like, well, where'd you go? I'm like, I went to Marshall's. I got a good deal. You got to love that. I got to know that I love good deals. I love frugality. And I'm learning at times, right? The value can outweigh the cost, but that's still something I'm learning, especially when it comes to self-worth and different things that I've navigated, to be perfectly frank. So in this last situation, right? One of the outfits cost quite a bit of money, around $300. Now, I was just telling Andresa, and I'll say it again to Andresa. Andresa, I paid. She goes, she on the call, she said, Liz, you're worth it to spend $300. And I said, I've never really spent that much money on a dress. That's a lot of money. And so you can go down a whole path there. What's a lot of money? Are you worth it? Are you not? There's a whole onion you can peel from that. I'll tell you this. The most money I've spent on an outfit to put on my body was my wedding dress, which is not an uncommon thing. A lot of women, right? A lot of women will say, oh my God, my wedding dress was the most. So Andresa said, well, how much was your wedding dress? I said, I think it was $400. And that's pretty low, quite honestly. Now, did I get the dress because it was $400? I don't remember, to be honest. I did like the dress. I really liked my dress.
Did you love the dress? That's what matters, right?
I did. I really loved the dress.
But did you check the tag before you bought it? And
absolutely.
Said, no, you did.
Absolutely.
I would not.
Now that's interesting.
Not even look at the tag whatsoever.
So tell me, if I'm going to play devil's advocate, because we're all investors are frugal. The women listening, men listening. I don't know. Well, a lot of investors are frugal. You're frugal too.
I don't know. What area?
In what area? Okay. When it comes to clothing, you may not be.
Compared to who?
Oh, Jesus.
Look, compared to my sister, I'm not at all. What was she
compared to? Right, it's relative to her.
So it's relative. Yeah.
So tell me why? Why is an outfit? Whether we're going to meet a contractor, because we're going to dress differently if we're going to meet a contractor. We're going to dress differently if we're going to go for a banker. Why does it matter? And why does it matter how much it costs? Honestly, I question that a little bit.
Sure, that's a good call. So here is my point of view, right? And I'll give you my background. Journalist major, 2 master's degree in communication. Needless to say, You are communicating one way or another if you intend it or if you're not intending it. Your outfit is communicating. Does not mean anything. It means what the other person is going to do it. But I am able to influence others, how I dress, how I purposefully choose my socks, the shape of my shoe, if it is pointy, if it's rounded. It's just quote unquote body language communication. And I want to idealize those things when I am communicating, when I am on stage, right? And but my point is that the millionaire next door wears shorts and flip-flops, right? I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And that communicates something too. My point is that I care about how I feel in that clothing. I do not look at the tag, and I'm not saying this for you guys. Oh gosh, like that, you're not respecting your money. I don't look at the tag as the first item. I put the clothing on, and then I say, is this making, do I look good in it? Do I think I look good in it? Because that's what matters, what I think about it. Does it fit what my budget is a secondary question. I don't look at the pricing and because it's cheap, I buy it. That is like completely opposite. And I am more detail oriented. So I will look at the color, the shape, because we're taking pictures. Is it from a branding perspective? It does matter. And I think that as I moved along, I think spending on cheap stuff makes me look cheap too, or makes me, it's just not there. The quality is not there, because when you know a quality clothing or something that is quality, you appreciate it. It is a different feeling. You look at somebody and you can tell, you just can tell. I'm not saying like go get like Gucci or Louis Vuitton.
Because I don't like that. That's not me.
Well, what does he mean? What does he mean when you say it's not you?
It's not important to me. And I think that's part of self-care, is to really
How do you know?
I don't.
Have you worn it before?
What,
have
Gucci?
Have you went to Gucci store, or have you wore a Gucci store? Have you put in your body before?
Designer clothing or a purse or
anything
from Gucci?
Yeah. Have you wore it before? Have you tried it before?
I don't know about that. I don't think I'd like it though.
Well, that's an assumption, right? That's an assumption. I might say, I don't like Mercedes, or I don't like Ferraris. I drive one. Did I wear it? Did I experience it? But that is an assumption. That's an assumption.
Okay. That's an assumption. I think that's fair. I think with self-care, what the key is self-worth, right? Because self-care is self-worth, really. And clothing is one way that we feel good, right? It's not about only feeling good. We have to feel good internally, of course.
Yeah.
But the clothing we wear does impact us. There's no question. You can't say that it has no impact and it just matters how I feel inside. That's not accurate, right? We all know that. We could all agree to that. And the way our society is set up, right? We don't walk around naked. So, well, if we do, that's just not going to work for most society. I think it's an interesting point, Andresa. And I think for people who have been more spenders, right? And they spend on expensive things, they start to say, okay, that makes me feel good. I like that. And that's where I want to spend my resources. And that's important to me. Then that's important to note. That's important to know about yourself. For me, I certainly can explore. Am I going to be someone who wants to spend a lot of my money on a lot of designer items? No. In general, I just not my thing, Mm-hmm. However, wearing things, to your point about quality, I think that's important because quality does matter in how you feel. But I love myself and I do think of highly of myself. Is that going to be different if I wear a $300 dress or a $100 dress?
I don't know. Have you worn it before?
I have not worn it.
So I don't know that.
That's an assumption.
That's
true.
Yeah. I think there's different, spectrums, right? There's like one way is like, you're going to Marshall's or you're going to Gucci. There is something in between.
Of course. And also to identify what does make you feel good and what adds to your own self-care. I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And I think as women, we're really frugal, and we don't even, if you said, Liz, name 10 designers, I honestly, I don't know if I would be able to do that. Now, I'm not saying that I'm just saying that objectively. Now, would it be neat for me to go into some of these stores and try different things and have fun with it? Yes. And I should do that. And I need to do that. Of course, because that would add value to my own.
Without looking at the tag.
Without looking, I'll eventually look at the tag.
Because that tag is going to influence you. Oh, no. I would just do a test, right? And this is what I'm encouraging you. I did encourage you to do. Like, test it, put it on. Let's see how you feel. What is different shapes, different colors?
Of course, because it adds to that joy. It adds to that kind of way you feel about yourself and how you're carrying yourself. And there is something to that, of course, in addition to doing the internal work, right? And taking 100%. Care of yourself. But we have to put ourselves higher than we normally do. And women have it's a slippery slope. We just sometimes go down the pecking order, and what we wear and how we show up adds to our confidence, and it adds to the demanding authority in a meeting or talking to that contractor, trying to land a deal with that potential owner. I'm not saying you have to wear a beautiful $300 dress to go meet a homeowner. That's random. Don't do that. But it has to be appropriate to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you have to feel confident in it. And it's interesting to think of clothing as a piece to our self-care. So I'm glad we had this discussion. I mean, I think I felt great, and I was happy with all the clothing choices. Now it's just a matter of moving forward to say, what is important to me in clothing, and where should I spend my money, and where is it not important? Because
exactly,
that's the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
And then to rectify that versus it just being a money decision, because that then can be just a self-worth decision. So
I love that.
That's the way to wrap it up here today.
I don't know if you're going to see Liz and I going freaking shopping. You might find us at like a construction store. It's easier to find us at looking at tiles than clothing. But this is something that we just wanted to share with all of you guys, because it is important. If you want it or not, you are communicating. So make the choice that is the best for you. Thanks so much for listening. Hope you guys enjoy it. Bye. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to receive updates on our next interviews, go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. There, you can subscribe to our show, become part of our investor community, and get updates on upcoming episodes.
If you like our show, please share it with other women who would benefit. And don't forget to leave us a rating on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to take one action as a result of today's show and put it into motion so you can live both a financially free and balanced life. Thanks for spending time with us.
Ciao.